Hey everyone, welcome to the road to Avengers Doomsday. I'm Jonathan, and every single month I'm going back through the MCU, revisiting each movie and showing you how to make custom LEGO minifigures from every single Marvel film leading up to the culmination in Avengers Doomsday. We've made it a long way so far, so be sure to hit like and subscribe, and let's get into today's movie starting now. Alright guys, the journey has brought us to No Way Home. This has been a much requested video, one you've been looking forward to and I've been looking forward to go back and revisit what quite possibly might be my favorite MCU movie to date. It is such a great film. I love it. It's aged so well for me. And of course, seeing Andrew, Toby, and Tom together, something we never thought could even happen, it looks absolutely awesome. So, that being said, we're going to jump in and update all of the figures from this movie, showing you how to build the most accurate versions using LEGO parts and pieces. And before we get started, you guys have got to check out my song No Way Home. It's a song I wrote with a friend, and we sang it from the perspective of all three Spider-Man retelling the story of No Way Home with LEGO stop-motion animation. Of course, you can see the video here on YouTube, which you're watching clips from now, and you can find it on all streaming platforms under Jonathan Pushkar No Way Home. So be sure to check it out, and with that being said, let's get into the video. So the movie starts where Far From Home leaves off, which gives us the black and red Spider-Man suit to make first. Now, thankfully, back when the No Way Home sets came out, LEGO did give us a super detailed version of the black and red suit, so we're going to use the legs, torso, and the head from that minifigure, but I took a pair of the original Spider-Man Homecoming arms and used black Sharpie over all the blue parts so that we could get some detailing there. This does break the purist method, and honestly, when we look at it straight on from this angle, it would look like it just has black arms, so if you don't want to break the purist method and just use black arms, you can, but if you're willing to take a little Sharpie to those arms, it does look pretty good when it's all said and done. So chronologically, of course, we see MJ at the beginning of the movie, but I'm going more for the general vibe of what she wears throughout the movie, and for this figure, I used black legs with the torso from the Harry Potter CMF Series 2 version of Ron, with the traditional MJ head and hands from the various MCU sets over the years, and some brown hair to bring it all together. Jonah Jameson is one of my favorite figures from the showcase because I think it just turned out so great. Of course, the torso and those dark blue legs come from the soccer coach from the German football CMF series from years ago. The head is from Jameson from the Daily Bugle set, and the balding hairpiece is actually from Alfred from the Lego Batman movie. Overall, I think that this is literally perfect for what we see in the movie, and I think it came together really great. Alright, up next we've got Ned and Peter, both of which I think turned out pretty darn good. For Peter, I used the hair and head from the 2021 Zombie Hunter Spider-Man CMF figure. Of course, I do think that looks a lot like Tom Holland. There are some other hair options, but to keep it simple, that's what I went with here. The torso, ironically, comes from MJ from the No Way Home Sanctum set with black legs, and then of course matching hands. And for Ned, I used dark gray legs, the Letterman torso from the Lego City line of sets with those off yellow arms, and then the hands, head, and hair come from Ned from the Far From Home accessory pack. All these far away, no way home, homecoming, I get them confused sometimes, but that's where all the pieces come from. Okay, up next we have Aunt May and Happy Hogan. I honestly think the Aunt May upgrade here has worked out really well. Of course, we still use that long brown hair with the classic Indiana Jones torso and dark blue legs, but the head is actually from Kathy Dooley from the Queer Eye set. I think it works really well. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. But for Happy, went ahead and used that traditional Lego suit and tie torso with black legs. The head actually came from Kraven the Hunter from 2016, but it was also used in the Batman vs. Superman sets. I think it was used in one other place, can't remember off the top of my head, but I gave him the black receding hairline, and I think that both of these turned out great. Up next, we're gonna need a really good lawyer, so I called in Matt Murdock. Now, I haven't updated this custom since I started making it years and years ago, because really, when it's perfect, it's perfect. The legs come from the Harry Potter collectible minifigure Series 2, the torso comes from the 2009 Last Crusade version of Indiana Jones, the head is Hawkeye from the 2012 Avengers with some flat-top brown hair, and of course a short white cane for his walking cane. So yeah, I think that this literally works perfect, and I think that this will be great. Up next, we have Betty and Flash, both of which I think turned out really, really well. For Betty, I used this torso from Tina Goldstein from Fantastic Beasts, with the head from Hermione from Fantastic Beasts, with blonde hair, a little microphone since she's reporting for the school news, and of course these legs that have the skirt printed on them from Scarlet Witch from Age of Ultron. For Flash, I used the belt piece from Owen Grady from Jurassic World with regular blue legs for his jeans, the torso from Henry from a Minecraft movie for his MIT-style torso there. I think that works out great. The head is actually an interesting choice. It came from the Pharrell Williams Over the Moon set, which came with tons and tons of heads to use. Then, of course, I used matching hands, and the piled-on blonde hair there really helped seal the deal. Alright, so next up we have Doctor Strange and Wong from When We Step Into the Sanctum. Now, Wong is pretty easy because this is just the figure that came in the No Way Home Sanctum set. He had a unique torso and leg print, and it's super accurate to the movie, so no updates needed for Wong in my opinion. Moving over to Doctor Strange, of course, I used the modern Doctor Strange head, hair, and cape combo because I do think it's the best we've gotten. Strange has a mug in this scene, and since we officially opened the multiverse in this movie in the MCU, I thought I'd give him the TVA mug as a fun little Easter egg there. Then, of course, the torso came from Harry Potter, from the Harry Potter line of sets, but there's a torso from Vern from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that works well, and to be honest, they're so similar, sometimes I forget which one I'm using. So, it's either Harry Potter or Vern, I really just don't remember. Anyways, moving down to the legs, these come from the Jungle Explorer character, who had dark brown boots and black pants. I think those work really well, but you could just use black legs or, something a little more casual for Doctor Strange. Okay, the Iron Spider is up next. Now, ironically, we're actually getting a new Iron Spider here very soon from LEGO Marvel, but as of the recording of this video, that's not out yet, so I've got to go with the best thing that's out as of right now, and that, of course, is the 2018 Infinity War version of Iron Spider. That gave us great arm printing, decent leg printing, although I wish they were dual molded, an awesome torso print, and of course the arms on the back are really nice as well. I did switch it out for the 2019 style Spider-Man head with the blue tint in the lenses. I think that looks really, really good, and overall I'm a big fan of this one. So yeah, I would recommend using the new one just because it'll be easier to get here soon, but like I said, it's not out yet as of the time of recording, so had to go with our best option for now. Hello, Peter. Up next, we have Dr. Octopus. And of course, the main structure here are based on the hands, or rather the claws, for his arms, which were designed by Lego Maker 98 on Instagram many moons ago, so shout out still all these years later. But as you'll see, the way that the claws are built, it uses one of these like triangle pieces from Ninjago, although they've been used elsewhere, with a 1x1 red stud, and then one of these kind of, I don't even know what you would call that. I always call it like a pin stud, but I know that's not it. Then, of course, we've got these angled pieces up top for the claws because Doc Ock's claws are actually different in the movie. The top two are different from the bottom two, and on the bottom one, we've got these kind of like horn pieces, and they're just wide enough that they can actually stabilize his entire weight to make him stand, which is something the official Lego figure can't even do, which is quite cool. You'll notice that Doc Ock's arms have the red and gold nanotechnology on them. Of course, if you don't want to take a paint pen to your Lego pieces like I did, then just use regular arms, that's just fine. But I do think adding the gold and red paint pen really makes it look great for the nanotechnology we see in the movie. And then, of course, we have the Doc Ock from the No Way Home set that have these arms that if you wanted to have the version that doesn't have the paint on it, you could use those as well. Speaking of the No Way Home Doc Ock minifig, if you look at him, the print on the torso is really fantastic with the black undershirt and the long trench coat, but for some inexplicable reason, they made this figure gray when in the suit he very clearly is wearing dark green. So the way I counterbalance that is to use the head from the No Way Home figure, because I think that looks just great. Then I used the hair from Jay from Ninjago. Moving down, I used the torso from the original 2004 Spider-Man 2 version of Dr. Octopus. I still think that works better to look green rather than the gray that I just showed you, but if we add dark green arms with brown gloves, it kind of helps trick your eye into making it look like a darker green than it is. And then, of course, the legs are dual molded with green on top and black boots on bottom from the Carrot guy from the LEGO CMF series, so putting all of that together gives us a really stellar Doc Ock minifig that I'm super excited about.
Misery, misery, misery is what you've chosen.
I offered you friendship and you spat in my face. All right, up next we have the Green Goblin. This is the original one from 2003, which you could tell because he has those gold eyes, or as Aunt May would say, those horrible yellow eyes. But there's no better way to make this figure. It looks so great from over 20 years ago, and I know he's rare and expensive these days, but it is definitely the best figure to represent this version of Goblin from the bridge battle. Here we have the black and gold Spider-Man suit from when he turns it inside out, and thankfully, LEGO did give us a super detailed version of this minifigure in the No Way Home sets years ago. This had an exclusive head, torso, and leg print with printed web arms that just look so incredibly good. And there's not really anything to add or upgrade because LEGO did that good of a job with the figure right out of the box. Up next, we have Norman Osborn, who I kind of went for like his pajama look from when he shows up at Feast, and then of course he's kind of wearing that robe around the apartment while they're working on fixing all of the bad guys. So, because of that, I gave him this pen piece, because it kind of reminds me of like the injector that they used for Lizard for the serum to turn him back into Kurt Connors, but the torso and legs come from McGonagall from Harry Potter. I think that works pretty well. I'm not crazy about the like little emblem around the neck there, but I do think it works well for Norman's PJs, if you will. Then the head comes from Kite Man from the Lego Batman movie with some piled up Han Solo hair to finish the look. Up next, we have Doctor Strange in his classic Doctor Strange outfit once he actually puts on the robes. And of course, he's got the cube that is supposed to send everybody home in No Way Home. That, of course, comes from the No Way Home Final Battle set. Doctor Strange himself is actually the No Way Home version from the Sanctum. He was exclusive to that set, and it's actually my favorite Doctor Strange figure to date. So that's where we're getting the hair, head, cape, torso, and legs from. And for some added detail on the arms, I added these printed arms from the Sailor from the Lego CMF just to add some gold bands around the arms. I just think it helps add a little bit of depth and make the figure that much more awesome. Up next is the Lizard, who I think LEGO did a really great job with. It would have been nice to get those like goblin feet for him that look a little bit more lizard-like, but as it sits with the leg and toe printing, I do think the Lizard figure from the Sandman Final Battle set is just about as good as it can get, so that's what we're going to use here for sure. Speaking of Sandman, he is entirely sand in this movie, so the way that I used pieces to build him is using the torso, head, and hair from the 2019 Sandman from the Spider-Man wave of sets with some actual tan legs, because he does kind of like walk around in sand form throughout the movie, so I felt like this was the best way to accomplish that. If you guys weren't collecting LEGO at the time that No Way Home came out, it was so painful that we didn't get any minifigures from the movie other than the, non-spoiler sets for so long. But finally getting all the characters we've looked at, including Electro, was so great after waiting so long. The Electro minifig is really perfect out of the box, so the only change that I made was adding these arms here, which have dual molding so that it looks like he has short sleeves on, and those come from Barbara Gordon from the Lego Batman movie. The skin tones don't match up perfectly, but honestly, it is pretty close, and it's the best option we have as of right now, so it would definitely be my recommendation if you wanted to change anything. Honestly, the way the figure comes out of the box is pretty perfect, but I'm always looking for little tweaks to make, as you guys know, so that's what we did here. Up next, we have the integrated suit for Spidey, which, again, LEGO knocked it out of the park with dual-molded legs with exclusive printing and a new torso print, but to add just a little bit of extra detail, I added the arms from any of the Incredibles, which are dual-molded, which give you black gloves on bottom and red on top, again, just to add a little bit of layering and texture to the figure. As if it wasn't already getting good, now it's getting really good. We've got Andrew Garfield hopping out of the portal, and he just turned out perfect in LEGO form, if you ask me. Of course, we did get the Amazing Spider-Man minifigure, which you see here, which came in the No Way Home Final Battle. No upgrades are really needed, in my opinion. I mean, yes, hypothetically, you could take one of the arms from another Spider-Man and put it on there just so that he has arm printing, but I really do think that this version of the figure excels just the way it is, so I recommend using the figure straight out of the box. The one change that I did make is adding the head from the Queer Eye set. I believe the character's name is like Antonio or something like that, but it has just a little bit of stubble facial hair printed along the jawline, and that facial expression is literally perfect for Andrew Garfield, so it is definitely the recommendation I make here. Now, when Tobey Maguire steps out of the portal, he's not quite in his Spider-Man suit yet. In fact, they even joke about him being dressed like a youth pastor. So I went for that look for Tobey's first appearance here. Of course, I used this torso from Spider-Man Far From Home from the Venice set so that you could see the spiders, under the suit there, but he's still dressed casual with dark blue legs, and the hair and head actually come from Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory set. I think that looks pretty good for Tobey. Of course, there are lots of other options that you could use. In the past, I've used like Marty McFly's head, but I just wanted to give you guys something a little bit different since I always seem to use the Marty McFly head in the past. Just gives you guys some options to make my favorite Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. And to that point with Tobey, we did get a brand new Tobey Maguire style Spider-Man in the final Battle No Way Home set just a few years ago, and this version actually is the most accurate version to the movie. Now, of course, in the past, I've taken the original 2004 Spider-Man 2 minifig and added dual molded legs to give him a little bit more accuracy, and while I do like the original minifigure miles and miles more than the new minifig, the thing is, the way that they rendered the suit for like the digital scenes and even just the way they made the suit for the new movie, it is technically slightly different, like the way that the lenses and the eyes are and all of that. So because of that, the most accurate version of the Tobey suit from this movie is indeed the one that came in the Lego set, and it's definitely what I would recommend here. Now, as we build up and into the final battle, Norman Osborn returns as the Green Goblin, and this was a really fun figure to make, but when I look at all the pieces used, holy moly, is this an expensive figure to make as well. So, let's break it all down. The head, which has those green goggles, as well as the torso, come from Norman Osborn from the Spider-Man No Way Home Final Battle. He does have a purple hood on here, but in the Final Battle set, he just had a hairpiece and no purple hood. The purple hood only ever came on 2 figures, one of which was a Nexo Knights figure, and the other of which was Raven from Teen Titans Go from LEGO Dimensions, which is a very expensive figure, and because it only came in 2 places, this hood piece is very expensive on its own as well. The arms are printed arms from the Bridge Battle version of Green Goblin from the 2016 Spider-Man wave of sets. Then the legs come from the original Green Goblin from 2002 and 2003. And then, of course, if we lift the hood off, because he isn't wearing the hood the whole time, we do have an alternate expression for Norman on the back, which we could put this hairpiece on for that. Then don't forget, I still have the Kite Man version if you wanted to do that. But overall, that is my recommendation for building Norman. Yeah, definitely a difficult figure to do and very expensive, no less. And at the end of the movie, we get the final swing suit for Peter. Now, this suit is strikingly similar to the Zombie Hunter Spider-Man from the Marvel collectible minifigure series based off his appearance What If Season 1, and for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and recommend using that figure exactly the way we see it. And of course, what is a Marvel movie without a post-credits scene? And in this one, inexplicably, we got to see Eddie Brock from the Venom Sony universe. So to build him, I used this torso from MJ from Spider-Man, ironically used that for Peter earlier in this very showcase, with black legs, since he's... with black legs, since he is Venom. Speaking of Venom, I put a 1x1 round little plate there in his hand to represent the symbiote that he leaves behind in the MCU. Plus, we've got a little glass mug there, the head from Poe Dameron from Star Wars, and a tan hat to finish it out. And speaking of finishing it out, let's go ahead and round out this showcase now. Alright guys, be sure to let me know what you thought of these customs in the comments down below. The road to Doomsday continues. This is such a fun series. I'm so glad you guys are here for it. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next video.